Hi, my name is April Lewis, and Drunvalo called me today. Is he still there?
Yeah, hold on 1 second, April, and let me see if he is available. Hold on, please.
The dog. Oh no. What happened?
What happened? Did it cut off?
Yeah.
Hello, April.
Hey, sorry about that. It seems like my phone cut off for some reason.
What happened?
My phone cut off. I had to call you back.
Oh, I don't know. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I just saw your note. I just wanted to talk to you because a couple things, but don't worry, you're going to get your money. I'm not trying to not do that or anything. But I just, I would like you to, two things. I'd like to explain something to you that I don't think you understand.
Okay.
Based on what I read, what you're saying, I think you really are not clear on something. And then I'd also like you to sign a very simple statement so that you know that you're not a teacher anymore or anything like that. And so anyway, I'll go over that in just a moment.
But I'm not a teacher now, though, so why would I have to sign something saying that I'm not?
Well, I'll read it to you and you'll understand.
Okay.
It's nothing.
I'm confused because I didn't sign anything saying that I was a teacher. Why would I have to sign something saying that I'm not?
Well, it's just that you're not part of the school anymore, and just it's a simple thing, just so that we can have a clearing, an ending of it. I'll read it to you, and then it's not a contract, and it's not made by an attorney. It's just something I made up so that we could be clear, and then you can just fax it back to me, and I'll send you your money today. It's okay. But really, what I really wanted to tell you was, I don't think you really understood what happened at that whole thing. And I understand a lot of people were not clear, but because you were saying in there that you were never told that there was going to be a mentor class and that there'd be more money and all that stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't even implied before or during the workshop. This was all told to me about a month after.
Absolutely
Okay.
correct. That wasn't. That's not what happened. I mean, we were just starting out. We didn't know where we were going. And what happened is we went through the workshop, and basically what you thought and what you signed was that you would either be accepted or not accepted, but your money would not be refunded either way, and you knew all that stuff and everything else like that. But what happened was this, just so you can understand, because we're just ordinary people trying to solve things. When we got, after the workshop was over, and the next day when we were all working out who was going to be approved and not approved, we came up with two lists, the list that was approved and the list that was not approved. And we were going to just follow through and just do that, exactly like we had said in the beginning. But then when we looked at the group that was not approved, we found that there were some people on there that we could not approve under any circumstances. We had sexual predators in there. We had all kinds of stuff in there that were problems that we could not allow no matter what. And so those people were there. But we found that other part of that group were people that really just needed more training or something.
Did you know beforehand? How did you know that they were sexual predators during? Like, why didn't you figure that out before the teacher training?
One of them we didn't know until the day of when we were doing that. We had this man went to 3 women and tried to basically rape them, and they all came to us and said you can't do that. And at the same time, the day while we didn't know that until the last day, and then the next day when we went in to figure that out, another man came in and he took him. He didn't know him, but he took him to a dinner or bar or somewhere, and they were talking. And in there, he said to him, he was a Flower of Life facilitator for 15 years. And he told him, he says, well, the only reason I was a facilitator there, he says, I don't care about the stuff or the teaching. He says, it just gives me a chance to get young women and get them.
Well, I kind of got the
And
impression that's why some men went through this teacher training who actually ended up on your website. Honestly.
Well, it could be true, but we don't have any proof or anything of that. And if I knew that, I would get rid of them. I don't know that. And we haven't found out that. I mean, we're trying to get rid of all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of other reasons why we couldn't do it. You know, I mean, there were people that just couldn't for different reasons. That was the extreme reason, but there were other reasons. There was one woman who really knew the work better than just about anybody there, but she disqualified herself. She came in and said that same day, she said, look, I really want to do this and everything else, but what I realize is I cannot get on a stage because I just freeze up and can't talk. And she says, so I can't do it. She says, I don't know what to do. She says, I love this work. It's what I want to do, but I can't. And so,
well, at least she was honest. But can you? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to distract you.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. We just told her if you can ever get to the place where you think you can talk, then we would gladly have you as a teacher. But here's what happened, April. We saw that there were some that we couldn't do it for whatever the reason. We all agree we can't let these people teach. And then we saw this other group over here that really...
Can I ask you one question? Were those the people that had interviews at the end of the teacher training?
I don't know.
I thought that the ones that were going to get disqualified right away had an interview with you. My impression is that the people who got dismissed immediately actually had an understanding of why they were dismissed.
No, we didn't tell anybody. Usually we had to this one guy that we were just talking about, he went back and was going to sue us, right? He was filing a complaint. He was going to sue this whole thing until he found out that we knew the three women that were ready to take him to court, and then he's dropped everything. But that's the situation. We had to go through that. But no, we never told anybody any of that. Even with one of them, he was also extremely upset and being extremely jumping up and down and saying everything was wrong and we don't know what we're talking about. And the only thing that stopped him and made him think differently, because he says, I know this work inside and out, I know what I'm doing, on and on and on. But his peers, when all the peers voted, rated him out of the whole, what was it, 90-something people, whatever it was, he had the lowest score in the class, and it was almost zero.
Okay.
Not one person in that class said that he should be a teacher. Not even one.
Do you mean the class or the group that we were with? Because I don't think we rated anybody else other than our group.
That's what I mean. In your group, you rated the other people. So you also rated him extremely low. Every single person in the class rated him extremely low.
No, we didn't. I didn't rate anybody in my group other than the people in my group. Do you understand what I'm saying? There was only 3 men in my group.
Okay, I don't know how it worked exactly.
Okay, well, I was explaining it to you because you don't seem to understand how the rating system worked on the teacher training.
Well, I really don't that much, I guess. But his rating was the lowest rating in the entire...
In his group, in his individual group with 5 other people.
In his group.
Okay.
And so when he saw how low he was rated, he changed his mind. And other than that, but we had other reasons. There were a lot of reasons for this guy why he could not do it, but we didn't go into them. And we don't go into the reasons, and we don't have to for legal reasons. This state is different. This is another thing too that you don't know. In most states, if you fire someone or don't let them go, and you're not applying for a job, realize this is for a job. For a job, it's different, but you're not doing that at all. You're just asking for copyright, use of copyright. That's all you're doing. You're not employed or anything else like that. But in California, if you fire someone, you have to give exactly the reasons why you're firing them, and on and on and on, and all this. You have to have at least 3 good reasons why, etc., and everything. In Arizona, you don't have to have anything. You can just say go.
Well, I thought you said that we weren't getting hired through you. That's not the same thing.
I'm not, but I'm talking about employment. That's the nature of it.
We're not being employed by you. If I taught, it would
That's
just
what I
be
said. That's what I said.
okay.
You're not,
I
I
guess
was
I don't
giving that
understand the
as an
correlation.
example of how the nature of the state is. They are very different about everything. In California, if you carry a gun around, you have to have a permit, you have to have training, you have to have on and on and on. You can't have it concealed. In this state, you can do anything. You can have a loaded gun in your pocket, ready to fire, and it's totally legal, and never have a permit or anything. Now, this state is wild. It is totally a wild state. It's the last state that came in, and they're like outlaws here.
What are you trying to say, though, with that? Are you trying to say that's the reason why you didn't feel like you had to give us reasons for why we didn't become teachers? Is that your point?
No, it was based on psychology.
What do you
We
mean?
didn't tell you why because that's how the mentor program works. The mentor program, let me go back first to the other thing of why we implemented the mentor program, and then I'll go into how it works and all that other stuff. When we sat there that next day and we realized we had a group of people that probably we shouldn't just throw them away because all they need is something more. They all need something different. Some of them need to understand the work more. Some of them need work on their emotional bodies. Some of them have different problems.
How did you determine how somebody needed work on their emotional bodies? And just, you were overseeing 100 people over a week and a half. How did you come to that conclusion when you... Because I actually never had a conversation with any of the...
psychological person. She has a degree in psychology. She works as a psychologist, and we had to follow her opinion.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm just saying that I didn't have a conversation with anybody during the teacher training. I didn't have a conversation with Conchita. I never interacted much with Ron. I didn't interact with you. So how can you determine somebody's emotional state or mental state?
April, we're not trying to hurt you. We're trying to work through a very complex thing. I don't want people out there teaching this work that is going to harm the other people. And I have
Why do you think that I'm going to harm anybody?
What?
Okay, I'm sorry. You can go on.
If the person doesn't even understand the work, they're going to harm them. And so I have to make sure that they know what they're talking about. And if they do know talking about, we have to do the best we can to try to find people who are stable, are not going to be screaming at them or throwing things at them, or not going to, like this other guy, you're trying to rape them, or other things else like that. Wouldn't you, if you were building a school, do the best you could?
I would, but I don't believe...
Weird or mean? We're just trying to figure out a way that we don't have a choice. We have these people, and we have to make the best judgment that we can. Maybe it's not perfect, maybe it's not the best thing, but we have to do the best we can. Don't you agree to that?
Yeah.
Well, that's all we're doing. We're not trying to be weird or to choose some people over other people for weird reasons. We're just trying to do the best we can to see who is the best and trying to get the best. We could have, at any moment, just thrown away the whole thing and said, sorry, we're going back to the original thing, and all the people that were approved, okay, and those that were, and all the teachers candidates, you were not approved. You were turned down. And we gave you a second chance. You would have just walked away with no money, no nothing, and nothing, because that was what the agreement we made. But we gave you a second chance to try to fix it. And that probably maybe wasn't a good idea. I don't know, because we've had so many people get upset over this whole thing. And all we were doing was just saying, okay, you guys were turned down, but now we're going to turn you into teachers candidates to see if we can figure out some way to make it work. And this new one's coming. And since then, we have pretty much fixed everything, because all the problems of people who were so upset came only, as far as I know, only out of the first group. The second group, we've worked it out. I have a whole pile of 117 people that are now teachers candidates, that are now teachers. And you should read their letters. They are so happy. They are entirely blissed out by the system that we have created from them. But we still have people that, like you, that are upset with us because maybe we didn't do it the best we could. We did it the best we could.
How many teacher candidates didn't become teachers? Just curious.
I don't know that number, actually. I think almost all of them have become teachers, but I don't really know that number.
Okay.
I know there's still, I think, 5 or 6 that are trying to figure out how to do it. And you know, and we made this up basically in a couple days of how we would do this, and it's not the best way. I mean, we're trying to figure out a better way right now for this next group. There's only going to be one more training, then I'm never going to do this again. It's just too complex.
Yeah, I thought that you were only going to actually have 2. You said that there weren't going to be any more after the Mexican training.
Well, what I said was there may be one more, but I don't know yet. And the only reason I did is because there's so many people here trying to get in. We've got lots of people that want to do this, and the software program for our computer will allow more to come in, and so we're going to do it. But then after that, that more than likely will be the last. Maybe it will go a year down the line, and it will seem to be a good thing to do. But right now, I don't think there is going to be any more. And so that's what happened. I mean, we just tried to how can we do this, and we said, well, maybe we can get better. Take the cream of the crop about what we think is, maybe we're wrong, but we take the cream of the crop of the thing and call them mentors and let them train with that, and maybe that would work out. It does work. It just doesn't work with everybody. But you never had a chance to find out because you never actually entered into the program. You never...
What do you mean entered into the program?
Well, did you actually work under a mentor?
I mean, I tried to, but I had some difficulties. And I think that I sent you an email describing some of them. Or I sent it to Ron and Conchita.
I don't see all those things. I don't know. I mean, I did talk with Judith. She said she tried to get you straight for 6 weeks, but never could. And
That's not true. That's definitely not true.
Well, okay, well, people say what they say, and I don't, all I can do is what they say.
Did she say that she was trying to call me or email me? How did she try to get in touch with me?
No, she didn't say in touch with you. She said that you were trying to work with her for about 6 weeks, but was never able to make it happen or what. No, but all I knew is the bottom line is you never worked with her, and I guess you tried, what's his name, Ron LaPlace, is that right? If I remember right. And that didn't work either, so I guess you couldn't figure it out. I don't know. It's hard because we've only had, 8 or 10 mentors, and it's a big planet. So this system, obviously, is not perfect. It's difficult for people to do that. Now we're changing it a little bit since it's only one more time, and we're letting them, where everybody goes in as a candidate, as a teacher's candidate. Nobody goes in as a teacher right off the bat. And everybody has to take 2 more workshops with mentors before they can ever become a teacher at all, ever.
Why did you withhold why a person could become a teacher?
Because from the psychologists that we were using...
Are you talking about Conchita?
I'm not going to say who it is, because I don't want to bring somebody else into this whole thing right now. But that based on their experience, since they are trained for this, they felt that it would be best if we did not tell the candidates why. It didn't really matter too much about the ones we dropped out, but the candidates, because what they wanted to do was to give that information at the last minute to, or not at the last minute, but only to the mentor that would be working with them so that they could understand where it was, and they would then tell you what the problems were and work through those problems. And while you're in a system, and it does work pretty well.
Can you explain to me the psychology behind that?
No, I can't. I'm not
it doesn't. It seems manipulative to me.